What is going on, everybody? It's your boy NeoStarling, and I am back here with another podcast. Now, that said, I want to tell you all a story. Picture yourselves for a moment, if you will, a small child, not really understanding the way the world works yet. It's raining. You're a little sad because it's so gloomy. The weather is not where you would like it to be. Your socio-economic status is not where you would like it to be. As a matter of fact, everyone around you seems to have some sunshine shining directly on top of them, except for you. You just don't understand it. You look at your parents or grandparents, maybe uncle, aunt, whoever's taking care of you, and you wonder to yourself, why? You're asking yourself that question. Why is it that my life is the way that it is? Why can't I be more fortunate? Why can't I have the things that my friends and other more extended family possibly have? Picture for a moment that you internalize all of those things and that trauma beats in your soul so hard that you end up becoming angry. You not only become angry, but you inevitably become addicted to your anger. Yes, that is what we are going to be talking about today. The topic of today is anger addiction and why it happens and what you can possibly do to sort of circumvent it. Now, I haven't done a podcast in a while. There was a lot of things going on. You don't really care. That's not what you came here for. So we're just going to talk. We're going to shoot the shit. We are going to engage with the topic, with the hypothetical, because although for some of you this is real life, for others it might not necessarily be the case. Some of you might have what I like to call artificial anger addiction, AAA. I just came up with that. You like that? I do too. I'm going to keep that in the edit. There's a plethora of different reasons why you can become addicted to anger. But first, we have to identify what anger addiction really is. Now, I know that earlier story about you being a child might not necessarily have cleared it all up for you, so I will expand and I will add additional context into this matter. So, anger addiction, picture yourself at your angriest moment, right? And internalizing it so much that you don't want to let it go. If you let it go, you somehow feel like you're letting a piece of yourself go. A part of yourself is vanishing into the ether. This part of you gives you some sort of substance. It makes you feel some sort of value. But the thing is that it's not real. It's animation. It's artificial. You can't really quantify it because it is an emotional state that you're in. This anger gets you so upset that you utilize it as a form of victimhood in order for you to excuse the other things that are happening in your life, or rather that are not happening. You see, because here's the thing, when you're angry, there's a lot of different reasons you could be upset. Your mom and dad could have gotten a divorce, a family member of yours could have passed away, a friend group that you were part of might have had a falling out, and now you don't know what side to choose. Do you want to choose sides? Do you feel like they're both dumb and you should just leave? There's a ton of different reasons that anger can creep up in your life. Maybe you have a crappy boss. Maybe you have someone that doesn't recognize your hard work. You're possibly even in a relationship that holds no real value, no substance, no love, no anything. And how could you not be miserable in those particular states, right? You might even just be jealous. Maybe a friend of yours got promoted instead of you and you felt that that promotion should have belonged to you. Maybe you were at the doctor's office for too long and you noticed that even though you had an appointment, they saw 2 or 3 people before you. You have to let that go, first and foremost, because in this life, those things are going to happen. They are inevitable. It will happen and there's nothing you can do about it. When I was younger, and when I say younger, I don't really mean as a kid, although I could use my childhood experiences in this context, but I feel that you'll get more out of this if you're a little older, right? Because my particular audience they're not really children. They're people that are older. They're people around my age. I had a lot of anger for a long time. Outside of my financial state when I was a child, there was something else that I was noticing that was creeping up that I couldn't really do anything about. And that was getting mature, getting older, hitting puberty, right? Noticing that I had friends who were able to get women and I wasn't. And for a while, I used to hold a lot of anger and resentment towards women. Not all, hashtag not all, but some, particularly those that were in my immediate vicinity that for some reason would look past me, but they would go to somebody a little less palatable, let's just say for the sake of this video. And I always used to think to myself, damn, why is this the case? Why is this happening? Am I that busted? Am I that unappealing? Am I that unattractive that I'm not capable of getting love? And I sort of fell into my own artificial inceldom. I placed myself in that position without realizing it. But here's the thing. I was worried so much about finding love and acceptance that I was missing my entire life before me. You know, I didn't have a job. I was in really bad shape. I was drinking. I hung around a crowd that wasn't very savory, so to say. And I just didn't have things going on in my life. You know, how could someone be interested in me? I wasn't even interested in myself. And when things like that tend to happen, you tend to harbor this anger because it's easier for you to focus on something specific versus you focusing on the things in your own life that you need to change. Now, granted, you could probably be thinking to yourself, oh God, here we go. He's going to do one of those pick yourself up by the bootstrap type of things. And no, I'm not actually going to do that. I'm going to tell you something that's actually really important. You need to feel your anger. Your anger is a part of you. There are people that say that anger is a useless emotion, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I believe that anger is capable of motivating you and capable of getting you to do things that you probably on your own would have not done. For example, if you are going through a breakup, right? You notice how sometimes when people go through a breakup, they go through a metamorphosis. There's a paradigm shift that's going on with their body, and suddenly they start exercising. You know, maybe you start running because you want to keep your heart beating because it hurts so much. And when things like that happen, you have a lot of motivation. Your anger is fueling you to become this new indestructible form of yourself that you have to create in order to surpass and overcome the tragedy of your existence at that particular moment. In those situations, anger can be useful. Heck, I make fun of this all the time, and I tell one of my friends that goes to the gym with me, I always tell him, hey dude, if you could take heartbreak and put it into a pill and give that to people instead of taking like a pre-workout or, you know, additional protein shakes, maybe they're taking testosterone, whatever the case may be, even steroids. If you could take breakup and put that into a pill, you would have a lot of people that are in shape. If you could snap your fingers and have all your fat go away, you would do that. You wouldn't stay in the state that you're in. And they don't even always know the underlying causes. You know, we have to really discuss why people are so upset at all these things. You know, there's a lot of trauma and triggers that can affect you. And mind you, by the way, I'm going to say this, and I probably should have said this at the beginning, but I am in no way, shape, or form an expert. So if you have some real anger in you and you need to address these things, I do highly suggest you go see a professional. You know, because at the end of the day, I'm just some dude on the internet having a conversation with you. You know, maybe 10 of you will see this. Maybe a million of you will see this. You never know, right? But you want to have a better life for yourself and for those that are around you. Identify your reasons for your anger. I like to make jokes often about particular groups of people that get angry and are outraged. You know, like for example, if you're somebody that spends all of your time on Twitter, you know, and you're just tweeting away all your anger. First of all, people that comment on videos and on tweets and get really belligerent and angry, those are the people that are hurting the most. And I can tell you this first and foremost because I've gone through that pain myself. So I know what it feels like when I see it. You're in pain. That anime icon or egg icon on your Twitter profile, that is a representation of how you're feeling at that particular moment because you're not really showing who you are. You're not showing the true self that can express themselves to the world. You have to do it through an avatar. And when you're doing that, you're only really feeding into your own anger. Really address the issues. What's going on? Do you have a stack of bills, for example, that you might need to pay? Maybe you have your light bill, your cable bill, your internet bill, whatever bill you have, your cell phone bill. Are they sitting on your counter and you're ignoring them because maybe you don't have the finances in order to pay it, or maybe you do, but you don't want to waste it because you'd rather go down the block and have a couple of drinks so that you can forget your problems for a couple of hours. There's a lot of different reasons why people say and do the things that they do, but what I've noticed is that when you have real things that you have to take care of in your life, you tend to substitute them with things that get you outraged because it's a lot easier to complain on a tweet than it is to pay that bill on your counter. You know, I know Jordan Peterson said this a long time ago, and a lot of people aren't very fond of him right now, and I can kind of see why. He is getting a little extreme, but he did say something really valuable. At least I thought it was valuable a long time ago, where he said that it's kind of difficult to be a revolutionary when you can't pay your own rent. You know, that's actually really powerful if you really stop and think about it, because it's true. A lot of these people that are stuck in this perpetual cycle of anger, you know, people that are in the depths of perdition and can't rise to the heavens, those people tend to be individuals that are suffering on a financial level, Or if you take the finances out of it, right, and you got to one of the other more important things, which is more relationship wise, there's a lot of reasons that could be affecting you as well. You know, you might think you're an outcast, and now granted, there are certain things that are out of your control. You know, like if you're a 5'1" dude, but you know, you're pretty attractive and you're pretty intelligent, you know, sometimes your height alone can disqualify you, and you might think that it's unfair, and it kind of leads you into these rabbit holes that you might not be able to get out of, you know, because you want that confirmation bias. You want to feel angry. You want other people on the internet and other people in the world to tell you that your anger is justified. But you know what? Just because you're 5'1" doesn't mean you can't find someone. I've seen plenty of dudes. I'm 6'1", so granted, I kind of am genetically gifted, at least height wise, but I've seen people shorter than me that have kicked some mean game and have scored some baddies. I've seen really overweight dudes bag the most attractive women. Your physical standing can be a limit to you, but it doesn't have to completely define who you are, because there is inevitably someone for everyone. And if there isn't someone for you, then hey, that's fine. I get it. You might be in a war-torn country where there's bombs dropping every day. And you know, I use this a lot in my examples in podcasts, but it's really true, because if you really think about it, this is actually a first world problem, but they're still your problems nonetheless. You still have to deal with this every day that you wake up. You know, thinking about how you're going to satisfy yourself when you're in your late to early 40s and 50s, you know, your testosterone has gone down or your estrogen has gone down. You know, you might not be feeling as attractive. You might have gained some weight. You might have some brain fog that won't go away. You're not as sharp as a tack as you used to be. These are real problems that you have to face later on when the world is no longer interested with you, you know, when you're not as attractive as you used to be, and not just on a physical level, but on a psychological level as well. You know, you can only be an unemployed girl at a bar for so long before people start to not think that that's cute, especially if you're an adult. You have to keep these things in mind. You know, whether you're a man or woman, transgender, whatever you identify as, we at Big Brother Neo's podcast are extremely inclusive. I don't care what background you come from. All I care about is whether or not you've got what it takes to make actual change in your life. Because realistically, look, let's keep it 100 here. There's only so much you can do, and there's only so much you can say to somebody before they stop caring. They could be the closest person in your life, but if you're always angry, they're not going to want to be around you. You're a Debbie Downer. You become an energy vampire. You're a parasitic organism that just takes all the time, and you don't actually give or create anything. All you do is take and destroy. You know, you're a perpetual black cloud floating over somebody's head, raining on them all the time. And most people don't want to experience that. That's why on the internet, when you look at social media, you see the best version of someone. When you're on a dating app, they choose their best photos because they want to represent the best versions of them. Now, granted, whether that's real or not, it's feel good, and it makes people feel good. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good. And I'm never going to understand the need for people to want to knock you down a peg just because of that. If my energy is too positive for you to be around, fine. You could sulk in your own self-pity for all I care. I'm serious, because I only want to be around people that are going to be a benefit. If you're going to be a takeaway and you don't want to make any actionable steps to actually do something about the catastrophe of your life that you're currently experiencing, then you know what? Why would I want to go down with you? It doesn't make any sense. It is illogical. Your anger, again, can be a benefit, but it is almost certainly always a detriment. So always be mindful of that as well. So your anger addiction will often make you focus on things that you don't necessarily need to be focusing on. Okay, if you have to pay your bills, or if you're borderline diabetic and you have to start eating healthier so that you don't start taking away from others, that's something you have to resolve. Maybe start going to the gym, maybe eat a little healthier. Simple little things can make all the difference in your life. If you have a messy home, for example, I like to tell this to people often because I'm a little bit of a neat freak and it's kind of an issue. Well, it's not really an issue. It's a good problem to have realistically. I like having my environment clean. If my environment is messy, I have a difficult time being creative. I can't flex my creative muscles because my mind is constantly clouded with things around me that shouldn't be a certain way. You know, there's a beauty in cleaning and fixing things around you. If you live in a messy household and you're always depressed because you're there, yo, take a weekend, you know, take a full day. If you have other people to live with you, all of you get together, right? Now, here's a plan. You collectively get things together because a lot of us tend to be hoarders. You take things that you don't need and you throw them away. You don't even give it a second thought. If you haven't used something for the last 6 months or a year, just get rid of it. It no longer serves you. It is physically and psychologically holding you down. So you take that stuff, you throw it away. You start sweeping, you start mopping. Maybe you need a fresh coat of paint on your walls. Maybe you've got bugs at home and you need to like set some traps so that you could eradicate them from this plane of existence. Once you do those things and you start organizing your physical space, your thoughts now have time to organize themselves as well, because now you've cleared an obstacle that has been stopping and preventing you from achieving a different level. You want to reach a different plane, and often you can't do that when your room is a mess, when your mind is a mess. There's a ton of different things that happen to us, and we have to be mindful about that. I always try to be mindful about this as well when I'm talking to other people. Everyone is on a different stage, right? Not everyone is at the level that I'm at, or vice versa. So I've had to get over my anger issues. When I had trouble talking to girls and I didn't know how to get any girls, it was something that I really had to work on hard. I had to start, working out, exercise a little better so that my body isn't sloppy. Because if you have a sloppy body, then that means that you don't really start what you finish. You don't take care of yourself. Your physical self can say a lot about you. Maybe the way you're dressing. You don't have to have like Louis Vuitton or the most famous style or anything like that. You could wear a simple, clean t-shirt. As long as it's clean, as long as it fits you properly, do that. Get a haircut. You don't have to have a stylish haircut, but don't be so unkempt that you look sloppy all the time. Don't have mustard or ketchup stains on your shirt. You don't have to match your sneakers and pants, and everything doesn't have to match, but at least the clothes that you're wearing, keep it clean. And more importantly, you be clean. Allow your hygiene to be clean. Brush your teeth, use a tongue scraper, use some chapstick or Blistex for your lips. Keep yourself hydrated. It improves the quality of your skin. A lot of these things matter, and a lot of these people just ignore that and don't realize how much of a difference that makes. I always tell guys that a haircut for a man is like makeup for a woman. When a dude gets a fresh cut, they look amazing. You take a nice shower after that, you can look really good. Same thing as when a woman decides to pretty herself up a little more and put on makeup. They can get really creative and have some really unique and compelling styles to show you. If these are things that make you feel good, then do them. But actually take those steps and do them so that you're not constantly being weighed down by your own emotional state, because it's kind of ridiculous when you stop and think about it. Now, granted, yes, you could be depressed. There could be something clinically wrong with you. And if there is, again, once more, I would suggest seeking help. Try these things first. Go outside first thing in the morning. Most of us are vitamin D deficient. Get a little sunlight in your body. We're plants. We need sun to grow. We need water. We need to stay hydrated. Little simple things make all the difference. And I'm telling you, whether it's cleaning your room, whether it's changing up your style, whether it's losing a little weight, all of these things can help slowly deteriorate the anger that is plaguing your existence. And I think it's important for everyone to do this, okay? Because remember, a lot of the times that you're angry and you're addicted to your anger and you're not allowing yourself to live like a regular person because you're so angry, a lot of that, there's an underlying condition to that. Instead of complaining on the internet all day, instead of waking up in the morning, getting your double frappuccino, cleaning your glasses and then getting on your phone and getting ready to like crap on people all day, there's a better way. Why would you want to spend your day shitting on people, looking for people to cancel all day, when if you yourself want to do something great, then do it. To put yourself out there. If you want to write a book, start with a page a day. Yeah, you might not do it. Heck, most of us won't write a book. I've been talking about writing a book for years. I've started it at times, I've stopped it. And will I continue? Who knows? But one thing that I do know is that if I spend my time on things that are no longer serving me, if I'm eating foods that don't love me back, putting myself in a constant state of anger, then I am only hurting myself. I am only cheating myself. I am not helping. And as a result, I hurt others around me, because it's all a proximity effect. Your energy, when you go to the gym, this is one thing I love about the gym, and I will always say this in every video. The gym is the one place in the world where we are all equals, okay? Lady Gaga has to grind through a workout like the rest of us for her to look the way that she looks, okay? I don't want to hear that. Now, yeah, some of us might have personal trainers. Some of us might have unlimited money to, get the healthiest foods. But you know what? No amount of money, no amount of clout is going to make you lift that weight. None of that is going to make you do a push-up or a pull-up. You have to be able to do that on your own. And once you push yourself off the floor, that is where you begin to heal. Done.